Alright, let's go. It's me, Puddlecakes. I'm here with a video that I actually recorded a few days ago. I went to upload it, completely failed, and realized I had my mic turned off. um, don't actually remember why I turned it off, but I did. So, long story short, this is going to be my video on my perfect murder ball. I currently don't have that murder ball set up because I don't have Cyrus or Nebuchadnezzar until um, March 28th, so about a month and a half. So I created a little stat sheet here, if I remember where it is. And we're going to go over a few things here. Well, that's awkward. It was supposed to hide everything. It didn't hide. It was supposed to hide. Apparently the the online OneDrive Live, whatever, didn't save everything. But here, we'll go over it. Pretty simple. So I'll move this over here like this. Okay. So, as everyone knows, there are 8 Archer Commanders out right now. You've got your Gen 1, which we went over right away. We went over Sid, YSG. You have your Gen 2s, which is your Edward Tamiris. Your Gen 3s, which are your Ramses and Artemisia. And you have your latest, which is Cyrus and Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Legend Ronnie made a video, I think a week and a half ago, about his perfect murder ball, or how it's morphed in his arc. And it's interesting because it does have 2 archer setups, but to me, they're a little bit squishy, but it is what it is. I had a couple of friends message me, shout out to Lin, who asked me how I survive as archers because they die all the time. They said that they feel weak. They literally asked me if they need to spend $1,000 to go and get all the equipment they can possibly get to make their Ramses and Tamiris stronger. Now, don't get me wrong, Ramses and Tamiris are a great setup, but optimally, if you're running around with a Ramses Tamiris and an Edward YSG, you're going to die pretty quick. So, I'm going to go over some of the stats that are brought up for all the archers, and then I'm going to show you why I pair it, or what I pair together, and then actually the buffs and debuffs that they bring. So it's pretty interesting. So we'll start off with probably considered one of the best at the start. I think so. Alright, so the first commander is YSG. So, Rage. It does a skill that gives Rage 100, attack bonus 100% on cast, and gives skill damage 50%. Now, this is considered my damage dealer, or this is your damage dealer group. So you've got YSG that does all that. You have Cyrus, who does additional damage, attack 30%, march speed 15%, skill damage reduction 40%, attack defense 20% after skill, and 50 range. That's a lot of stats, actually. You got Tamiris, who does attack 30%. You got defense reduction 30%, skill damage 3 to 45%, attack counterattack, and cav attack negative 10%, which I think I forgot to put my stat sheet. But Ramses, 40% attack, skill damage reduction, and you pretty much see where it's all going. A lot of debuffs and a lot of damage. I don't think any of these have any health. I think one might have defense, but that's pretty much it. Cyrus has a little bit of defense on skill cast. But otherwise, there's not really a whole lot of defensive measures here. So if you go to your tankies, or your tanky, you go to your tankier commanders, and you've got El Cid, who brings a disarm, defense, 25% if expertise, movement speed, and some attack. You got Artemisia, who brings 20% defense, health 20%, also silences for more damage, and then also has a huge skill damage skill. Nebuchadnezzar, defense 30%, movement speed 15%, and range reduction and damage bonus. And then a lot of people would think Edward is actually the tankier one, but he gives health 30%, march speed 15%, and then does give other damage bonuses. So I just said that Edward and YSG are not a good combination earlier, even though Edward's considered the tankier one. But I guarantee you, if you go and run an Edward and a YSG on the field, everyone will target you right away and you'll insta-die. I'm pretty sure if anyone sees the YSG, you'll be counter or attacked right away anyways. But just that trying to be tanky, trying to be fast, works out really well. So I tried to make it so it's covered up, but for some reason it didn't get covered up or save the covered up. But here is my current setups. Well, my current setups when I get Cyrus and Nebuchadnezzar. So Ramses actually works out with pretty much anyone. You can put him with Tamiris, you can put him with Cyrus, you can put him with YSG. I've seen Edward and Ramses, and I like Artemisia Ramses, and I've seen Ramses also. Really great commander, so diverse, so versatile. There's so much you can do with him, and so many buffs. And I personally like to run Artemisia Ramses, and the reason why is because then you get the defense tree and the archer tree, and it makes them pretty tanky. And then you get these other stats here. So pretty much you're getting attack, defense, and health, and you're getting a skill reduction and an armor reduction. So in my setup, I can pretty much 1v1 anything on the field right now with Artemisia Ramses, and it's a lot of good AoE when you're, pretty much in big battles. So the skill reduction and armor reduction is super important because this also stacks with other commanders. Tamiris and Edward. Now, Tamiris is one of those commanders that you can pretty much use with anyone. Edward is one of those commanders that just doesn't fit with everyone. So it's an awkward setup, but at the same time, Edward's kit works best with Tamiris. I had a lot of fun playing with Edward and Artemisia at one point, but slow cast time and then a silence on top of it, it was slow going. But in the end, Edward and Tamiris give each other insane buffs. You got attack, health, march speed for your buffs, and then defense reduction and skill damage. So skill damage is kind of a debuff because anything that Tamiris attacks gets a stack up to 15 stacks, so 45% damage. So essentially, if you have Edward with no rage gen, none of the skills in here with rage generation. So if we go, and this is kind of a sneak peek at my Edward build too, I guess, to help people out. I think I showed it in another video, but a lot of the time I see people will go this, Burning Blood. That's 9 rage every attack. That's still significant. Grants an initial 3 rage after launching a normal attack, or they'll go Rejuvenate. So you pretty much want to skip all of these rage gens so you can get as many stacks as you can with Tamara's. And it works. It's extremely strong. So now we have a defense reduction passive, and I think I meant to put defense reduction for that too. I think it's defense reduction. Too tired is what it is, right? Yes, defense reduction. Let's fix that so we don't look like complete doofuses. Okay, so we also have defense reduction on a casted skill and defense reduction on a passive, so they actually can stack. That's fantastic. That's fabulous. I mean, so that means every time Rams's skill goes off, you're lowering the defense by 30% for the 2 seconds that the skill is hitting, which means that if it goes off a second before Tamara, Cyrus, or YSG's skills, the defense is then reduced for those hits. It's a really good setup. So the 2 new commanders, I've seen a lot of people say their setups and however they like it, but this is actually what I'm going to end up using, and I think it'll make Cyrus a lot better than he gets credit for. Because realistically, you get attack, defense, rage gen, another defense skill, march speed, and additional damage from Cyrus and El Cid together. I mean, that's just an insane stat line. It's just an insane stat line. Honestly, like, there are so many stats there, I can't even explain it, really. So, also, what it does is it gives a skill damage reduction and a disarm. So, you have Cyrus's skill, which lowers their skill damage by 40%. So, you can pretty much make it so these ones are rotating constantly. Let's see. So now, if we look at Rams's skill damage reduction is a passive. So I'm going to think that the skill damage reduction from Cyrus is also it's just going to end up overriding it. But if you think about it, now 40% can only be triggered 5 seconds. If it ends up going up, right, they can actually keep going. It's obviously not going to happen like that all the time, but you should not stack, technically speaking. But still amazing either way. So, and then disarm. Disarm, I went over that skill in another video, and I love that skill too. So YSG and Nebuchadnezzar are actually kind of the ones that don't really bring all of the debuffs, but there's a lot of AoE damage, and a lot of damage, YSG is pretty much just a damage dealer. Skill damage, rage on cast, damage. Nebuchadnezzar, people might think, well, it's not really tanky, but if you really look at it, defense and movement speed is pretty much the same that El Cid brings. Oh, I didn't even put movement speed on this. Oh, man, there's just too many stats. So really, 25% defense with expertise, 15% movement speed. We've got 30% defense and 15% movement speed. So I think it should work out really well. I'm kind of excited to see how it runs. The only other thing that is an actual debuff is rage reduction. So if you look here, pretty much have all of these. It's going to hate me. So if you look at all of these archers, now you'll see people running Ramses Tamiris. Great. You're going to get the defense reductions, you're going to get the skill damage buff, debuffs. Amazing. You'll see people running Edward and YSG, and that's just damage, doesn't really add that debuff. So it's like, for me, I think the cream of the crop for archers is just how well they sync together. They really do. You've got skill damage reduction, you've got a disarm, you've got defense reductions, and you got skill damage buffs and rage reductions. You pair this with an Ethelfled and that the new commander that's coming out that does rage, or like a Joan or something like that. There's a lot of potential here. A lot of potential. I currently just run these setups, and then I have my Cavs gang. No, that's just the joint rallies. Don't really care about that. But generally I run Ethelfled and YSS, and the reason why is because YSS can pump out a lot of damage and adds a lot of stats to make tanky. And if you're in your own zone, even more damage. I've been running Edward Tamiris, of course. Let's see. Someone was running away from me earlier. Oh man, did I ever tear them up? I got some. I mean, just fun. I think, what else did I have? I had a bunch of stuff in here. I completely forgot about this. Oh yeah, I have a video that I made. I am so pissed. I did not record sound, but man, I zeroed cities upon cities upon cities. I had a good time. I think I got like another 15 million kills last night, so good time. So here's a pretty sweet. So this person was attacking my siege that I was farming with, and I ended up just getting out the Artemisia Ramses and tearing them a new one. And as you can see, they didn't last very long. Let's see. Nah, just zeroing cities. Zeroing cities. I think I got rallied in here somewhere. Was it up here? One second. There's a lot. Ooh, scouted our city. Yeah, pretty much. That's all I did. I just looted people yesterday. Got a lot of resources. Oh my gosh, I should show you this one. There is an insane guy in here that literally has like $50,000 worth of resources. Just disgusting. I don't even have it on here. Son of a gun. Okay, I got a little off track. I pretty much had a good time. Oh, yeah. Okay, fabulous. But back to my stuff here. Okay. But then my last two marches. So Artemisia Ramses, just so good on the field, and then El Cid YSG. It just works so well. I mean, I can't deny it. And then if I do have a fifth march, I do have the Constantine Joan right now that I've been running. But I don't really not really a big fan of like the Ethelfled YSG and stuff like that. So, but that kind of wraps up my video. It did take a little bit longer. I got a little off track at the end, um, but it just shows you what I see with my marches: debuffs, buffs, and how they mesh and how they work together. A lot of people, you'll see that they use the best of the best, the Attila Takeda, the Guan Alex, and don't get me wrong, Guan does have a lot of good stats and buffs, and Alex has a great shield, and you know, I really should run something like a Guan Alex for my 5th March, or even like maybe a Alex Herald or something goofy like that. But um, a lot of it is just looking at your setups, making sure you're utilizing all their buffs and debuffs, and not always thinking the no tanks, the Genghis Khan or the Genghis Khan and YSG, the Mina, Cao Cao, stuff like that. Think about your setups, utilize them, and you will win so many battles. And you'll have so much more fun fighting on the field, and you won't feel like someone who spends thousands of dollars a month will destroy you. That Herman El Cid will go toe to toe with a Guan and Alex. I promise you. I'll even make a video and show you. If people want to see a video, I can show you that a Herman and an El Cid can beat a Guan Alex. um, Otherwise, it was fun. You guys have a good night. Peace. Oh yeah, have any questions? Obviously hit me up, Shinchi Discord. Please. I appreciate you all, even though there's like only 50 of you. But it is nice to see that people still ask me questions in game. It's just funny because I don't think they've actually seen that I have a YouTube to help answer some of those questions. But thank you very much. Peace.